We must talk about Katt Williams. Welcome, family. Let's start with a quote, shall we? It's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars don't get to make complete narratives for themselves. Katt Williams broke the freaking internet. Some of them I just had to rewind. I just had to, did he, what? Rewind. Let's talk about it. Welcome. I'm Reverend Valerie Love, the author of over 25 books on practical spirituality. This channel is all about inspiration for your amazing life, dream life of destiny. And here we talk about spirituality, travel, lifestyle. OMG. Family, can we talk about it? So Katt Williams broke the internet. And if you haven't watched it yet, it is an interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. Now, Shannon Sharpe said something very powerful. He said, this is not an interview. He said, if you want interviews, you need to go to Mike Wallace, you need to go to 48 Hours, you need to go to Dateline, all those kinds of shows. He doesn't do interviews. What he says he creates is conversation with a nice cognac. Conversation. And so they were just having a conversation. Now, who saw it? Put it in the chat if you saw the Katt Williams interview. How you loving? How you loving? Hey, Joe! How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? Because I got some quotes here and some notes, and I want to get y'all thoughts on these. We're going to have a conversation about Katt Williams. And it's important to have this conversation because the conversation was about truth. The whole reason he came on Shannon Sharpe is because he said people sat in that very same seat. Saw it. Come on, Sharifa, let's talk about it. He said people sat in that very same seat and they lied. He said they straight up lied. And when Shannon Sharpe asked him, well, why did they lie? He said, I don't know why liars lie. But when he said, I'm telling you, I had to rewind. Actually, woo child, sounds of sweetness. Okay, let's just get some of these reactions on here. You saw the interview, Cheryl. Okay, Sharifa, saw it. Okay, sounds of sweetness. I watched it. Woo child, let me tell you, pretty and intuitive. How you loving? I watched a little of it. Spirit Journeys. Yes, Queen, I saw it. Okay. So family, I did not know that Katt Williams was a Jehovah's Witness. His family, I did not know he was a JW2. That's my background. I did not know that. I guess Jehovah's Witnesses turn out some pretty cool, pretty strong people if they don't stay Jehovah's Witnesses. He said it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars don't get to make complete narratives for themselves. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Katt Williams and my overall impressions of Katt Williams. From I always felt, and y'all tell me in the chat, just sound off in the chat, your thoughts, impressions. This is a channel about spirituality, so we talk about how things, comport and line up with the soul. My impression of Katt Williams is always that this man was coming straight from straight. I never got that he was a manipulator. I never got that he was trying to be something other than Katt Williams. I never got that he was pretentious. I never got any of that. And I always thought he was funny, and I always thought that he was an intelligent comedian. Now, a lot of comedians are intelligent, yet a lot not so much, right? Because I don't really enjoy the slapsticky kind of comedy. I'm more tend toward, in my personal taste, I'm more tend toward very intelligent comedians who are really masters with craft. For me, like a Dave Chappelle, super insightful. I think to be a good comedian, you have to be very insightful. But one of the things that I loved most about the interview, you always thought that too, Angel, that he's real. He's not trying to be anything other than Katt Williams. The part I loved about the interview the most is this man was fearless. And it was no holds barred. He talked about Steve Harvey. When he called Steve Harvey Mr. Potato Head, I was like, no, no, he did not say that. This man talked about Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Michael Jackson. This man went off about all of them. All of them. Now, what I do also love about it, I didn't, I knew that he was speaking truth because we know these things about Hollywood. There are cabals, there are groups, and they get together. There are allegiances and alliances. We understand all that. So true. Hey, Lynn, how you loving? One love from Barbados. Hey, Barbados, how you loving? Ooh, living in Hawaii. I love that. I love that. Katt always been my fave comedian. Oh my God, I love Katt Williams, and I've watched him over the years. He speaks truth to power and is courageous. Not crazy about his pimp act though. The whole pimping thing is not your thing. So when I looked at him and watched this interview, I knew that this man was talking true, that there are things going on in Hollywood. I mean, all the Harvey Weinstein stuff came out, right? All the whole island and the whole bizarre sexual things and the whole sexual favors in Hollywood. And the idea that he was just trying to get through Hollywood without stooping to having to do any of these sexual favors for anybody and remain his own man and be his own person and be in integrity. Two thumbs up on that one, like win. So it was really, I don't think he said anything that people didn't know. I don't think he said one thing that people did not know. For me, though, I give props to Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, all the people that, work their thing, do it. They were never my kind of comedians. We did go see Kings of Comedy back in the day because everybody went to see Kings of Comedy back in the day. We went to see Kings of Comedy back in the day. I didn't find it to be super hilarious. I even think they had a movie at one point, didn't they? Did they have a Kings of Comedy movie? Then they had the Queens of Comedy. It was okay. I didn't find that it was hilarious. Like there are certain people that I laugh out loud at. There are certain people that I'll get like belly laughs at them. Katt Williams is one of those people. Dave Chappelle is one of those people. Here and there, there'll be a belly laugh from something silly that Kevin Hart says. I don't have anything against any of these guys. What he was saying, truth, because this is what he said. Yes, he reminded us that truths will be revealed this year. Ooh, did he not? He said 2024, the truth is coming. So be ready. And these people, a lot of people, the cabals in Hollywood, as Taraji came out with the low pay for a decade, right? That she's been sucking it up for a decade. And after taxes and the studio and the agent, and Taraji, you can't, like he said, you can't pick 3 Black female actors that you can replace Taraji with. Like Taraji is at the top of her game. When I saw Taraji and Benjamin Button, I was like, whoa, like this is an actress. Taraji's not getting paid what Meryl Streep is getting paid. She's not, and that's something that's concerning. It's very concerning. I think he is of the occult way of life. I do like Katt Williams as a comedian. He definitely knows who he is. Oh my goodness. So Sharifa, who is of the occult way of life? Who's in the occult? Because that's a very interesting. Hey, Danielle, how you loving? Okay, I have some quotes here from Katt Williams, and y'all tell me what y'all think about these quotes. When he started talking about some of the people that were like, and Shannon Sharpe went to stop him, he said, you having an unnatural allegiance is not like you. Oh, you having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you. Oh my goodness. Like some of these quotes, they're Kattisms, and I'm saving them. Because some of these quotes were just too good. I could feel the sincerity in his voice the entire time he spoke, and there have been responses to this conversation, yet no denials. There we have it. There we have it. That's very interesting, sounds of sweetness, that people have tried to. Kevin Hart brushed it off. They showed a tweet from Kevin Hart. And the tweet was like, "Much love to you, brother or Cat, but it seemed like you got something to get off your chest. But come to my show anyway." Kevin Hart brushed it off. He didn't address it. He didn't address it. And oh, my light went out. I don't think that any of them really are in a position to address it. I don't think any of them are going to address it. Okay, let's go to another quote. To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Oh my goodness, this man is super confident. This man is super confident. He said to be confident and not delusional is a real skill because he did not drink his own Kool-Aid. One of the qualities that was really surrounding this whole thing is that he had his humility. He wasn't coming from a place, I didn't get that he was coming from a place of arrogance, right? He speaks from his divinity. Whoo, spirit journeys. Now let me scoot over here because I had an idea that the light might go out on me a little bit. So let me get into a better light for you. Hold on. I had an idea, so I had a backup plan. I had an idea that my lighting might not last me real well, and I know that I had to have, a decent light for us to have this conversation. So hold on, let me make sure we have a decent light so that we can have this conversation. And oh my goodness, he speaks from his divinity. Good gravy. Okay, let's give you another one. Oh. Stop paying people you don't have no respect for. What about when he went to the strip, talking about going to the strip club? He told the dude, stop going to the strip club. You're making it bad. You're perpetuating, you're part of the problem going to the strip club. He said if he saw a girl in the strip club that he liked, he would tell her, this can be your last day here at the strip club. You don't have to work here no more. What would it be like if you were dreaming? The whole idea of where women sit with Katt Williams, he really loves women, yet he's not lustful. He was lustful, never been married. I did not know he had 10 kids, that he was raising 5 boys and 5 girls. Did y'all know that he had adopted all of these children? Did y'all know that Katt Williams had 5 sons and 5 daughters? That he was adopting these children? Had no clue. And the idea that he was a single father, and they asked him, have you ever been married? I realized something when I was watching this. I said, all this Katt Williams rhetoric that we've been hearing all these years about this man, probably none of it was true. We were hearing lies about him being struck out on drugs, that he was on crack. We were hearing lies. The smudge smear campaign was in full effect on Katt Williams. Was it? Yeah, he's a great dad. You knew he had, oh my God. Yep, he's a great dad. I mean, if you had Katt Williams for a dad, that probably would be so fun, wouldn't it? Because he's crazy as all get out. That man is crazy. I did not know that he had that many children. Like, it just showed me his heart. Cheryl, I didn't know it before the interview. I did not know it either, Cheryl. And you know what was very, very telling and very heartwarming about Katt Williams? He said, this is another one of my favorite quotes, I wanted to be God's friend. Who says that? Like, he was raised in a traditional family, fundamentalist Christian, had an altercation with his father when he was 13, left home when he was 13, went to the truck stop, ran away from home, left the altercation. And he said his dad couldn't sleep good with him in the house. And he said, with his dad in the house, he said he was getting beat. Shannon Sharpe said, oh, you were being abused. Your father was abused. He said, I never said that. I said, we were in an altercation. He was in an altercation. And he would not win in that altercation. And he was like, this is my father's house. Like, he didn't have it skewed. He had it correct. This is my father's house. I can't live in my father's house and do whatever I want to do. He said, but they also told him that they were going to disfellowship him for being, sexually promiscuous. And he said that somebody said, I asked God, and God told me that that the answer was yes. He was out there whoring around. He said, well, now you lying on God. We got to go. So even though he didn't stay with religion, he kept his spiritual footing. He seems like one of the most grounded people that kept his footing, kept his rooted solidly in his self, capital S self. And that's how he wasn't able to be swayed by all of the craziness and stuff of Hollywood, because the offers did come to him. But like you said, 7 people took the deal. Yes, I know he's a foster parent, but didn't know how many children. Wow, beautiful. I loved the compassion for others. Didn't he have amazing compassion for so many people? Look how many people he helped. They also said, Shannon Sharpe asked him this question, and this just blew my mind. Shannon Sharpe said, yeah, we heard that sometimes comedians or people, who maybe are not getting paid a whole lot, a woman will show up, like women will show up with a large amount of cash and just give it to them anonymously. And he was looking around like, dang, have I been outed as the person that gave all this money? And he said something really powerful. He said he will watch a comic play, like a young comedian not getting paid, play and not get paid. They get applause, but you can't pay your whatever on applause. And he will send women to bring this person a bag of cash. Like he said, if I get 100,000, yeah, I can break somebody off for $10,000. Like the idea of breaking people off, bringing people in, mentoring people, feeding into people. Like this man has a ministry. This man is a minister. Let me see what this one is. Hi, everyone. There are 2 powers. Choose to either believe in the Satan, Lucifer, or the God, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh, and his Holy Spirit. That any other names are equal Satan worship. Okay, thank you for adding that to the conversation. Matter of fact, Katt Williams said something about that. He said, I'm on God's side, it's God's side, and then there's the other side. That's where I live too. I live on God's side. I ain't trying to do nothing out there in them streets with no one and nothing else other than God. We know the supreme power around here. This channel is about the supreme power. And if you're on this channel and you think this channel is anything other than about the supreme channel, then you don't know us and you don't know what we do. All right, let's go forward. There's another quote. Y'all tell me about this one. We got women out here that can't find a man because they acting like him. What about that one? We got women out here that can't find a man because they acting like him. Oh my goodness. Come on, women. Now that is the truth. I have seen many women completely in their masculine. And he said they're looking for a submissive husband. He said they ain't gonna find one. That, oh my goodness. You can see Katt is a deep thinker and takes his time before he responds. But when he does, he is on point and very articulate. Oh my goodness. Not one thing did he stutter. Not one thing. Not one thing did he come without facts. Not one thing. Everything he was asked about, he said, I was involved in all of these situations that I'm telling you about, and that is not how it went. Yet, I don't think they thought that he was going to come and answer it with the fury that he did. That's why people for so long felt comfortable and confident saying these little lies here and there, and sometimes big lies, and maybe trying to cancel him and come for him and this and that and the other. I don't think they thought he was going to come like this to set the record straight. I really don't. Because when he called out Cedric, he called out Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart. He called out so many people. And the idea that they'll give you, he called out Ludacris. Did you hear him call out Ludacris? Because he said him and Ludacris got the same offer. The offer is $200 million. 10, 10 films, 20 million each, offers 200 million. Yeah, then we own you. See, when you take orders from spirit and not the flesh, you get backlashed and considered the worst, don't you? And you know what it really did for me? B Floss the God. You know what it really did for me? It gave me even more juice for Christian witches because these Christians be trying to comfort me all the time and they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just don't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's really sad. Now I'm at the place of a lot of compassion for a lot of these Christians that come. They come on Christian witches. They come on, a lot of the Christian witches content. They come on and, read the Bible, read the Bible. You can't be a Christian witch. Da, da, da. They're so disturbed. They're so disturbed. They're angry. They're upset because because facts are upsetting their apple cart. Facts and truth. Truth never stopped coming for me because I didn't like it. It's truth. And the truth is coming out about the Christian religion. And what can you say about that other than the truth? Okay. Cheryl said, now one thing, he was clear and concise in his responses. I don't think those comedians knew how articulate he is. Oh my God. They weren't prepared. They were not prepared. Okay, sounds of sweetness. I loved how the other person in the room let him know he misquoted some dates and Katt corrected it immediately. Definitely standing on truth. Absolutely, absolutely. I tried to block them. Oh, Cosmic Witch, you tried to block the Jesus freaks in the room. I'm okay with the Jesus freaks being in the room as long as they don't get out of hand. Share your opinion. It's all good. As long as you don't get out of hand and you're going to be peaceful and loving, it's all good. Because everybody ain't got to see things the way I see them. That's for sure. The truth shall set you free. Isn't that the truth, Danielle? Okay. He says, can't be bought. That is your integrity. It seemed that in this conversation about Ludacris, and then he asked, okay, so they're talking about Ludacris. He said him and Ludacris got offered the same deal, $200 million, 10 movies, $20 million each. Ludacris said yes, he said no. And he said, now how many Fast and Furious movies are there? 10. And how much did he get? I think he got 20 million per movie. I don't know how much he got per movie. I can't say. Wow. Now, the whole point of what he was saying is don't let anyone buy you. If you're bought, you can't speak up. If you're bought by the system, if you signed the code, the Hollywood thing, and you're on side with the whole Hollywood thing, then they own you. And like you said, they made you, they can break you. He's self-made, and that's what I can appreciate. He is self-made. Hollywood didn't make him. He put on his own first show, $25,000 he had in his bank account, and it cost him $22,000 to put on his own first show. He said, if I don't put myself on, who's going to put me on? If I don't invest in me, who's going to invest in me? This man got Netflix special after Netflix special after Netflix special. I think he said something like 10, 12 Netflix specials. And when he said that these comedians who try to come for him, who are not doing stand-up comedy, now he's right. He said his first job, he said, you best understand my job. My first job is to be funny. Because he talked about Wanda Sykes too. And when Wanda Sykes had him on the show and she tried to come for him and he shut that down. I don't think anyone would be in their try to come for Katt Williams at this point because the man has too many facts. He comes with truth and he's funny. Like he's super armed. So if people are not wanting to have a truthful, powerful conversation, why come for Katt Williams when all we're going to have is a truthful, powerful conversation? And it is not going to be, he doesn't have to sugarcoat it because he's not owned by someone. He's a self-made man. So that's interesting. So many Christians are blinded by dogma, tradition, deception, and lack of historical facts. Absolutely, spirit journeys. Pray for them because they are so twisted in the head that when you bring truth to them, like you tell them something like Yahweh is not God. I mean, it's researchable. Ask the AI. Yahweh is not God. I'm about to do a whole Witchy Wednesday about it next Wednesday on the Christian Witches channel. Yahweh is not God. It's not the God of the universe. They come undone. You try to tell them that Yahweh or Jehovah, God of the universe, the God of the Bible is not the God of the universe, they come undone. Can't handle it. Can't handle truth. Sad, really sad when they say that religion is based on truth. Another fact, I've been saying most women today acting more manly than the men, and the men acting like women. Not all, but most. A bit harsh, but true. You know what's very fascinating, B Floss, the God that I have been noticing? I've been noticing the same thing. Like, why are these women wanting to be so hard? Do you notice how women lead roles have been portrayed in movies lately? They pan to the woman lead role, the heroine, and she's muscled, she's sweaty, she's dusty, she's got, tools, she's working on some spaceship, or she's lifting all this heavy stuff. The men are there. She's so in the masculine. That's why in my novels, I actually have feminine lead heroines. Like, you ain't got to be hard to be powerful. Somehow we got the idea that hard equals power. It doesn't. And somehow we got the idea that femininity is not power when it's one of the most powerful things on the planet. Who doesn't want femininity? Who doesn't want a goddess? There is nowhere where the goddess is not accepted, loved, and adored. Gay people and straight together. Where is the goddess not welcomed and adored? Where is the divine feminine not celebrated and appreciated? Come on, let's not be crazy. I believe everything he said is telling the truth. I love Katt Williams. Oh my goodness, came with it. He came with it, right, Lynn? Now, let's move to the deal of what you get when you do the $200 million deal with them. He said, and you get a wife. And he said, the only woman I'm scared of is a white woman, because she would take you down in 2 days. He said all of them got a white wife. That comes with the deal. I was like, oh, damn. And I always wondered why a lot of successful Black men in Hollywood, in, sports, professional sports, why they always seem to get a white wife or a racially ambiguous wife. Well, he said it. He said it comes with, it's a package deal. And he said no one ever interviews this woman. No one ever interviews the package deal wife that comes with the deal. $200 million deal. Oh my goodness, Katt Williams. Hashtag too much truth. Truth that people can't handle. I'm all for strong, capable women, but modern feminism has ruined femininity. Hasn't it, Danielle? I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. We don't know the power of the moon. We don't know that the moon, in its feminine essence, in its yin, pulls toward it all the water on the planet and pushes away. It controls all the water in the planet, including the water in our bodies. Like, that's some superpower. The Lakota know the superpower of the divine feminine, especially moon time, because the Lakota in their sweat lodges, if you are in moon time, you cannot come into the sweat lodge. Not because they think you're unclean, like Jewish people, have the rule that they say the woman is unclean. They said not because of that. They said because a woman in moon time is so powerful that she could control and draw the energy of that entire sweat lodge, because that's how powerful a woman is in her moon time. Sitting there being in her moon time, the sacred energies and the sacred cycles of the goddess. I write about it in my book, Witch. Oh my goodness. All right, like I can change my own tires, but I don't want to. That is exactly what I was thinking. The other day I was saying to myself, why are women wanting to do all these things? Like, I don't want to do all those things. I love all the men that are around me that do all these things. I don't want to do them, even if I can do them. I can do this, I can do that. I can lift my own suitcase, I can do all that. I don't want to do all that. That's why I have these wonderful men that help me with everything. I'm with my son. I don't want to carry my luggage up the stairs and come down the stairs in Miami. Never do. My son doesn't let me touch bag. I don't want to do it. So if you ask me, this was the question I said, looking at women, who in all these ancient tales of, these Alexander the Great and the Caesars and all these people, who were they doing it for? They were doing it for a woman. Who did the city of Troy fall for? A woman, Helena. Everything that men have done, straight men, not gay men, of course, but straight men. And gay men, well, we hang out with them, right? They hang out with women and we have a ball. Straight men, pretty much, what are they doing it all for? They're doing it for a woman. Some woman was whispering in their ear, telling them, "You better go out there and get me that country." And he was like, "Right away." And he would dash out with his armies into war, go get the country, bring the gold back to her and the jewels and the this, look what I bought for you, and lay it at her feet. And she'd be like, "Okay, very good, thank you." So who's the smarter one in that equation? The one who stayed home getting fanned and eating grapes? Or the one that was out there freaking killing people and getting half killed to bring her the gold? Come on now, let's not act like we don't know what women really can do. We're not going to do that. He said it. I never thought about why. Yes, they get the ambiguous wife. It's interesting. These ones that have signed the contract, they don't have no black wives. They don't have black wives. Other than maybe like a Denzel, you know, but you never see his wife. His wife is not, she's like, he's the actor, he's the public figure, not me. Right. So it is very fascinating that you get a package deal. They'll hook you up. They'll hook you up, but then they can break you too. And if they make you, you cannot say anything that's not the party line. You certainly can't go on an interview and say what he said in one conversation, spill the beans on every comedian in existence. He did have props for Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle does the work. Like Dave Chappelle got all these stand-up comics. I just watched Dave Chappelle's newest. Who watched Dave Chappelle's newest Netflix special? Who watched him? This man is a true stand-up comedian. This man is hilarious. This man is a true stand-up comedian. This man is not somebody that does, fake TV shows or doesn't do stand-up comedy or what. This man performs true stand-up comedy and he crafts his art. To me, same thing Chris Rock does. Chris Rock seems like he actually writes jokes. And what Katt Williams says is, don't y'all come in here, the cabal of comedians that are not really doing stand-up comedy. Like he says, Steve Harvey hasn't done stand-up comedy for 15 years. Cedric doesn't do, he says Cedric has 4 specials and they're not on Netflix or Tubi. He said you cannot find his specials anywhere. And I thought, oh my goodness. But this is what he did say. This man is perfecting his art, his artistry. He says, I'm just gonna be good. Just be good. And then you don't have to get the deal. You don't have to get bought. You don't have to seek someone else for 200 million. You don't have to be don't have to be one of the gatekeepers, as he's talking about Hollywood as gatekeepers. Now we knew that. So nobody is calling him a liar on that. I wanted to be God's friend. God gave me everything. He talked about accountability. He talked about responsibility. What about toxic people? Do you hear what he said about toxic people? Yes, he gave Mark Curry and Bernie Mac and Dave Chappelle their props, didn't he? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He didn't just come with just pure hate, dishing out hate. He set the record straight on what was what. And he loved Prince too. Him and Prince were friends. It was very interesting what he said about Prince. I like what he said about toxic people. He said all monsters are feeding on something. Toxic people are trying to get something. They are toxic for a reason. And he said if you pull the plug on what they're feeding on, then they leave. Like, why would toxic people stay around you? He said they wouldn't stay around you because if you take away the feeding source of a toxic person, they're feeding on something. They're getting something out of it. If you take that away, you don't have, they leave. Very powerful what he said. All monsters are feeding on something. Is it? The man was spitting so much truth and wisdom that's why that video has, as I saw it last, as of today, 17 million views. The thing is not even 48 hours old. I think within the first 24 hours, it was like 5 million. Then it jumped to 9 million, then 15 million, 17 million views because people are like, this man broke the internet. Okay, let's go further. If you really traveled, you would see that all people are the same. And if you understood that, everything would change. He talked about travel. The reason that people don't have sympathy and empathy for others because they haven't seen other people. So when you hear the people who've never traveled, he talked about it. You need to go to Scotland, go to Ireland, go to, go all these different places, go to Puerto Rico, go here, go there. If you went to all these places, you would have sympathy and empathy for all people because you would see that all people are the same. Yet, you don't have sympathy and empathy for people because you've never seen any other people other than the people that you're around. And this is so profound. This is probably one of the reasons that I travel the world and that, we have all these retreats and everything else, is because I grew up in New York City, Harlem, the melting pot, the Cuban people, the Puerto Rican people, the Jewish people, the Dominican people, the Greek Slovaki, the French restaurant, the Italian, Little Italy, the Italian restaurant. Get this, get a cannoli, get a potato latke, get a knish, get a, bagels and lox. I grew up with all that stuff, like all of it swirled around. Chinese, Japanese, Korean, just all swirled around. We were in New York City. There wasn't a food you couldn't get. So that's why I'm very comfortable everywhere I go. I spent the first 28, 30 years of my life in that. I'm very comfortable wherever I go around the world because I've been around all kinds of people. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing. So when I go to Arab countries, I'm not concerned because the women are walking around covered. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. Some people cringe when people are covered. They don't know what to do around women that are covered. They don't know if they should be covered. It doesn't bother me because I was used to that. We were used to the Nation of Islam. All the women were covered. They were all on 125th Street. If you grew up in Harlem, you knew 125th Street, they had them. And you know if you stopped on 125th Street, you were going to see a very nice Muslim man with the suit on, with the Muhammad Speaks magazine paper, and bean pies, selling bean pies on the corner. With the Muhammad Speaks paper, here you go, here you go, here you go. This is a staple in the hood, and all the women were covered. This is a staple in the hood. And we also knew that if you went across town to the church, that on Sundays, you would see the Eastern Star women, and the Eastern Star women had white head to toe. So you saw that too. You saw everything growing up in the New York City hood and New York City, period, even the parts of New York City that were not the hood. You saw everything. So you don't think seeing a Greek person and eating a Slovakia or eating, a Greek salad, it's nothing to you because it's part of your regimen. It's part of your repertoire. It's part of your usual language. I was soaking in all that. So when I was in Greece, I didn't have any problem with Greek people. When I'm in Italy, Little Italy. And here's Big Italy. Didn't have a problem. And what he's saying is that people that are not around a lot of people like that, not saying that you got to go to every country in the world. Absolutely, you do not. And not saying that you have to try to go find all these different communities of people. Absolutely do not. What he's saying is that if you have not encountered that, then your sympathy and your empathy level is not the same if you haven't met all these different people, because we get to see that all these people are the same. They're all the same. I promise you. Greek people want to be happy just like you. Italian people want to be happy just like you. Egyptian people want to be happy just like you. I've been around this world to many, 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 many different countries in Asia, Europe, Africa, throughout the United States, Hawaii, throughout the Caribbean, Canada. I've been to a lot of places throughout Mexico. All people are the same. We all just want to be happy, and most people are good. Most people are not. The crazy, nutty ones, the loons, they're the minority. Most people just want to be happy and enjoy a bountiful life with their family and be peaceful and get along with their neighbor. And most people people don't wake up in the morning just want to fight somebody. We understand that that's a disturbance of the mind. That's not our normal state. Our normal state is we want to get along with people. I live here in Mexico. It is so peaceful. I don't think I have ever seen a fight. I have been in Mexico off in between all my travels. Mexico is a home base for 3 years. I've never seen a fight. I've never seen road rage. I've never seen people yelling and cursing and cussing at each other. I've never seen any of that. I've never seen the police have to arrest people, never seen a homeless person. Well, maybe one homeless person I saw in Mexico. Go to Miami, it's a whole ocean of homeless people. I mean, it's a homeless city. Go under any, you got tents. They're cooking outside, having an outdoor, look like a block party, wearing regular clothes. Homeless people like, wow, what's happening? I think same thing in California. Never saw a homeless person here in Miami, in Mexico. Maybe one person that looked sketchy. Not with the Mexican work ethic. These people wake up in the morning and start working. You don't see nobody homeless. So you would understand people if you saw people, and then you wouldn't believe what people tell you about Mexican people, that all these Mexican people are lined up at the border trying to come into the United States, taking all the benefits from everybody else. No, they're not. I promise you, there's millions and millions and millions of Mexican people. There's 90 million, almost 100 million, 98 million people living in Mexico City. They have no intention of coming north. They're looking at the news, seeing another person shot up another school, and they're like, wow, those Americans. All the Mexican people don't want to leave Mexico to come to the United States. Stop believing that's another lie. And let me go back to the quote from Katt Williams. It's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars don't get to make complete narratives for themselves. It's a narrative. It's not true. And we need to stand up for what is true. And we need to block narratives, set the record straight. If you were there and you know what happened and didn't happen, set the record straight. Speak up. Say what you got to say, right? Speak your piece. All right, Brianna, I went to one of the most diverse high schools in the country, then went to college to play volleyball in Idaho. LOL, I need more exposure. I love it here regardless. I love it, Brianna. I love it. I'll be traveling with you soon. Come on, we love it. Love my Eastern Star sisters. Yes, white hats, gloves, sockets, the whole nine. Do you know we used to get so happy? Now, I wouldn't tell my Jehovah's Witness people this because, we were Jehovah's Witnesses. And, they say Sunday is the most segregated day of the whole week because everybody goes into their little club. But throughout the week, we're all together, right? The Jewish people are mixed with the African people, mixed with the Jamaican people, mixed with the Cuban people, mixed. Even though we had spots and things in the neighborhood, you were free to move about the place. Yet Sunday, everybody's in their hole. The Baptists are over here. The Jewish people are over here. The Islamic people are over here. The Islamic people and the Nation of Islam were two different things, because if you show Nation of Islam to traditional Islamic people that are in Dubai, like the people that we encounter when we go to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that is not the same thing. So just be aware. And that fosters more understanding and more compassion, doesn't it? Okay, Cheryl says, yes, people are saying, yes, we all just want to be happy. That's it. That's it. Life is so simple. Life is so simple. You want good things for your children. You want to thrive. You want meaningful work. We want the four eternal markets. We want health, wealth, health, health. You want to have some level of health so you can move around, enjoy your life. Wealth, you want to have some level of abundance so you can do the things that you desire to do. Love, you want to have beautiful relationships, your family, your boo, your parents, and all that. You want to have harmony in your relationships. And the fourth one is happiness. You want to have some level of fulfillment, or knowing that your life matters, or knowing that you're giving to the greater cause, or that there's meaning in your life. Humans, we need meaning too, right? In addition to those. So those four, that's what all humans want. All of us, all of us, all of us. This reminds me of how the devil tried to tempt Jesus. Thankful for men like Katt. Woo, isn't that the truth? Because Hollywood has got the whole package. He said it. He said they have the package. Yeah, they're too busy working and having a good time when they get home. Yes. In my travel experience, the people are so friendly abroad, even when you don't speak the language. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the key is being, right? If I'm being a person like what Katt Williams, I'm going to wrap up with this. This is my overall take on Katt Williams. And if I could be a person like this, I would be very happy to be. He said, live your life like this is the last day. He said, when I go to bed, I say to myself, okay, this is it, right? Live your life really like last day you have on planet Earth. What's the good you would be doing? It sounds like he does tremendous good in the world. It sounds like people come to him when they really want to put their life right. This man has a ministry. This man is a minister of God. And he's an unconventional minister. I look at him as a minister of God. I look at him as a truth teller and a person who is setting the record straight, and a person who he doesn't have. He just is sorting it out how it is. So this is what I want to end with regard to Katt Williams. And just, if you haven't watched the whole thing, it is worth 2.5 hours just to have it playing, maybe while you're taking care of things in the home, or while you're on a walk, or if you have to break it up throughout the day. Watch it, listen to it. It is well worth your time, energy, and attention. Yes, he is a minister of God, isn't he? It is well worth your time, energy, and attention to do that. I agree. At Cheryl, I went to Sri Lanka last year. Sri Lanka last year, and we did not know each other's language, but it was the most welcoming, generous energy I've ever come across. Yes, baby. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Brianna. We go to countries all over the world, and whatever you encounter is what you're going to say that again. Whatever you encounter is what you're bringing, because you can only meet yourself, right? You can only meet yourself. Just finished watching the interview, blown away by the light and words to explain this beautiful soul doesn't do him justice. Oh my goodness, Laura, isn't it the truth? Isn't it the truth? And like you said, when you do travel like that, you love all people. You are, you're really more in love with life. It sounded like when he said he wanted to be a friend of God, it sounded like he just really wanted to be on the right side and make good decisions. All this stuff about him being in jail, like he said, he's been in jail 30 times. And I was like, why is it that they keep talking about this man being in jail? And why do they keep flashing up these jail pictures? The man said it. He said, I'm going to have weed with me every time, and I'm going to have a gun with me every time. And every time they let him out, and thankfully the country is coming around. Why do we have plants that are illegal? That's a conversation for another day. Plants. These are plants that are healing plants, plant medicinals that are illegal. That's a very interesting concept for modern day people. That's a very interesting. No one should stand for that. People should be standing on the corners, absolutely in denial of not being able to eat a plant or smoke a plant or whatever you do with a plant, drink a plant. We brew ayahuasca. The plants are illegal. Why? Because they're psychedelic. And Wow. These people are showing their hands, the cabals and the clandestine entities in the world. They're showing their hand because they really don't want you to be healed. And like he said, if he gives something to someone and they are, it's anonymous, he doesn't, they don't have, they're not beholden to him. Like he said, he puts, you know, comedians on. They don't have to sign to his label and do what he says. So it shows you when a person comes along truthful and clear in who they are and what they're about, it reveals the light has come. The light has come. It just reveals all the other stuff that's not the light. And how did you get your stuff? You made deals. And you made deals that were unsavory deals where you had to kind of leave some of your integrity at the door. I'm not willing to do that. And Katt Williams wasn't willing to do it either. And I'm sure all of you are not willing to do it either. All right, Brianna, that gave me chills, Reverend Val. You can only meet yourself. I was making it rain out there. Bought the meals of 3 families early every day and cost me 13 American dollars. Ha ha, love it, love it, love it. I can't wait for the plant conversation. Oh my goodness, plants, plants, plants. Let me tell you. I can't wait to travel and minister with you. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. So, family, I'm so glad we had this conversation. I just had to talk to y'all. I said, oh my goodness, let's have a conversation with the Love Tubers about this because I'm telling you, I was watching. My mouth was hanging open, and it is very hard to stun me. Because growing up in New York City, you see so much by the time you're 8 years old that you just don't get stunned. You done seen naked bodies, you done seen streakers. When I was growing up, well, like in the 70s, they had streakers. They were actually people that ran through the streets naked. It was a thing. Look it up. In the 70s, it was a thing. I know it sounds crazy now. Yet in New York, you see a lot. You're exposed to so much. After a while, you're just like, whatever. That's how New Yorkers are kind of like. You have to do a lot to impress a New Yorker. You have to do a lot to shock a New Yorker. You have to do a lot to have a New Yorker's mouth hanging open like, because it's just overexposure. That's what it is. In New York, your consciousness is just overexposed to so much from the time you're born. Like coming home from the hospital, you probably saw 20 weird things in New York City. Just coming home from the hospital as a newborn baby in your mother's arms. You probably saw 20 weird things. Okay, what else? I love you for that, Reverend Val. You're a master teacher with the utmost integrity. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, that's how I feel about all of y'all. That's how I knew this was going to be such a good conversation because I know that this channel is all about truth, spirituality. I know that y'all were probably looking at it from this perspective also of truth. Butt naked bicyclists in my area of New York. Come on, in the summer. Boom, there you go. Great conversation, Spirit Journey. So happy you were here, family. I am teaching a masterclass, the first wealth masterclass of the year. It's coming up. I'm going to give you a link to it right now before we wrap up because, oh my goodness. And I'm just going to share the screen so I can show you. We're going to hop over to valerielove.com. And when you get to valerielove.com, I want you to go to classes right here. This is our newest class. I'm revealing a tool that I have used. And this tool is very, very, what's the word that I want to say? I hadn't first thought that I was going to teach about this tool because I hadn't really thought about it, to be very honest with you. Not too long ago, I did the numbers day before yesterday. It's been kind of brewing in my spirit to, let me give you that link. It's been brewing in my spirit to teach something about this, yet I hadn't really fully fleshed it out. When I did the numbers, I'm like, oh, I saw Danielle, you signed up right away. You got one of them $250 gift certificates, that's for sure, travel certificates. You can use it or sell it, they're transferable. So we are giving away travel certificates. The folks that were signing up, wow. So get in while you fit in because we're giving away some travel certificates to the first few people that sign up. So there's the link right here. And I hadn't really thought that I was going to go into the numbers with what we do at our company, the Magic of Love Inc. And I didn't think that we were really going to have this conversation. Yet I have got to tell y'all about this tool, because when I saw that it was almost $250,000, I'm like, okay, we got to talk about this, because we have to talk about ways for everyone to be on purpose and deeply in their destiny and create the wealth from there. That heart-centered, soul-powered wealth. There's nothing like it. And it's infinite. And I would love for everyone to experience that. I really would. So I'm going to show you all the numbers. And it's going to be, we have 9 streams of income in our business. And so this $250,000 represents 4 of those streams of income. And I'm going to go into great detail with you. And it's pretty shocking. So that's what the masterclass is. And you know, our masterclasses are very inexpensive, because I want everyone to come to the masterclasses. Why? So that you implement it, and then you have plenty of money, and then you can come on retreats and do all those kind of things. So I think it's probably feeding us, right? It is feeding a bigger purpose. And even if you never come on any of our retreats, if you make more money, I'd be happy, because I feel like people like you should have a whole lot of money, because good-hearted people that have a lot of money makes a whole different world. Good-hearted, spiritual people that are in the love, in the bliss, that truly, truly, truly have a heart to do things for other people, like Katt Williams. When all of us are super rich, it'll be very different. And people won't be making deals like they're making in Hollywood for 200 million. 200 million will look like a drop in the bucket, and it won't be enough to buy someone's integrity. I love you. Have a beautiful night. Mwah. Peace. Guys, out. Love you, love you, love you, family.